Lost Colony, by far the hardest map I've ever played. I have 100 days to defeat the Lost King, but on alpha difficulty. This map attacked me at every corner, pushing me to my absolute limit. So with the army of new creatures on this map, can I do it all in 100 days? To start this challenge, we got a super long cutscene with a little girl hallucinating Helena to get the backstory of how Mayan got here, and then we cut to the main character, yours truly. That's where I met this a-hole, who took a bite out of my arm, but my survival instincts are simply too good, so I jumped out of the window and escaped. To start this challenge, I figured it was a good idea to spawn in the South Tundra. It definitely was not a good idea.
Oh my god. There's no way I put that entire cutscene. It's simply too long, but holy crap. That was pretty cool. Also, you'll have to ignore my voice. I'm sure this probably
Don't worry,
was the
Savannah.
nature.
You've been infected by red element, but I kept you from being turned by firing an engram pulse. At least until the so-called lost colony.
Oh, come on. Well, that was quick.
After spawning back in and after my hundreds of hours on ARK, for some reason I forgot raptors can swim.
Okay, we're gonna try and do some.
Oh yeah, good idea. Except it wasn't, because this happened. When I spawned back in, I actually managed to complete one of the skill tree tasks.
Whoa, what is this? This is insane.
Now to offset my early failures, I crafted a pick and some matching clothes. Immediately after, I got jump scared.
Oh,
After collecting myself, I went to gather some berries, but this plant gave me meat for some reason.
you get meat from this?
What?
Then I went to get some water and met the neighbor.
Oh.
After saying hello, I made up a campfire, some spears, and some foundations. Then I took a good look at the skill tree and realized I didn't know how to do any of this.
I've never seen a loot crate. Okay, let's just do the 1,000 with the 1,000.
So I went to test out my axe and was rudely interrupted by another one of my neighbors.
Damn. This ought to be fun.
Now I had to pick up my stuff off the ground and start repairing my base, which means I gotta punch more trees, which of course ended up be completing a skill tree task, and then another skill tree task.
This is terrible. Okay.
I also grabbed some flint on my way back to the base. After that I made some arrows and a bow for some offense, and some wood upgrades to the base for a little bit of defense.
Ooh, Arctic stuff. There's house number 1. Pretty bad, but it'll work. Okay, let's take a look at this thing. Holy.
Yeah, so the skill tree is way bigger than I remember. For now I decided to go with hot-blooded because I need all the health regen I can get. I also made this preserving bin that I'll likely never use.
Kind of out of place, but sure.
Later I headed out with my bow and arrow because it was finally time for some hide.
Yes, we can kill that. There's nothing else.
But I ignored the fact spiders put me to sleep. When I woke up, someone had kindly put my neighbor to sleep as well.
Ooh, this thing's dead. That's free eye. Let's go, free eye. I don't know what killed this thing, but thank God.
Next, I dropped a mortar and pestle for some narcotics and some spark powder. Wow, would you look at that? I did use the preserving bin. That's shocking.
What's it on me? 3.
Next, I made a forge because I'm already sick of stone tools here. Then, after the smithy, we went for some raptor hunting to get some more hide for a new pickaxe. But instead, I got jumped by this guy, and we all know how this goes. Oh, wait. I didn't die this time. The next thing on my mind was some Arctic armor, but I couldn't make any yet because this stuff is super expensive. Then I went in and tamed this moth chop because they're insane. So on my way home I grabbed a bunch of metal and slowly walked the moth chops home. Then I took him for some berry harvesting, and yeah, this is what I'm talking about. When I got back I made some narcotics and a pike, but more importantly a spike wall so I don't get Perloviate again. But I got bored and went out and tamed this parasaur. I'm not sure it'll be super helpful.
You not. You like not move. Why are you doing that?
Now it was time to construct some walls, and I'm sorry for all of you that have to look at this. I promise I'll build something better soon.
There. Oh, feel me.
Later I went out and tamed nobody's favorite pig, but it'll come in handy way later in the challenge. Then Athyla entered me, but somehow I was able to take it down before it killed me first. Luckily for me, on my limp home, some raptors decided to reset me to full health. It was so nice of them.
There's just... Okay. Make a bed out of all that. Guess I should do that. Oh. There's the berry. Why are these things only after me? What if I'm nice over you? Big mistake, buddy. You know what?
So after all of that, I finally had the common sense to make a bed. I was kind of tired of getting bullied by these raptors, so I decided I'd construct a little watchtower, but of course as soon as I finished it, they were nowhere to be found. Next I needed some stronger armor, so I made some chitin, and of course added a cape. But later in the day I managed to track down these raptors, and I even managed to tame one. Then I set up some raptors for breeding for a raptor army. Whilst getting outside my base, I had no plans to tame this, but this is a 150 berry and I can't really give that up. The only problem is there's a level 95 theory about 3 feet from this berry. So instead I settled for a Veilwind, but I tried to tame this one not knowing it was a clone. Luckily shortly later I did find the original one, but I mean come on, who hasn't done this?
Oh.
Later I did some raptor breeding because my short-term plan was to breed a bunch of raptors for an army for some reason. Here I mean I just wanted to pet the Veilwind, I mean come on. After forgetting about the raptors for a little while, I ended up having 3 when I returned to base. Later I went to test with the Veilwind, but I forgot how absolutely jacked I am, so with one shot I took it out with my pike. Later I did finally let it help me take out this Viomia, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage. But clearly it didn't do enough damage because these raptors took it out and then they took me out. I tried to run and put my stuff back on, but this Veilwind clearly didn't like what I did to its friend, so it took me out, wasting no time in doing so. When I went back to get my stuff, I realized there was an elf raptor there, and I got taken out pretty quick. I think it's time for some stronger tames. After returning the 3rd time, getting my stuff back to base and repairing all my armor, I decided it was probably time to tame up that berry I found earlier. Before I could do that, there was a level 95 that I had to take out, and then I made this simple trap that I think I got from Captain Fat Dog. You can just assume that for every trap, honestly. And besides getting stuck in the trap, the berry tame went pretty well, and the only problem was I thought this thing ate prime meat, and apparently it definitely does not. So I headed to the nearby river, but before I found any fish, I actually managed to find a bunch of silica pearls, so that's a win for me. I then found enough fish so that the berry could tame with no problems at all, except I did cut it a little close. With my new high-level berry, I'm now the king of this zone, so it was time to do some exploring.
You think you're the king? I'm the king!
While out exploring, I found a bunch of crystal, which would be good except for the fact that I got stuck inside of it. Wait, is that a pteranodon? Oh, nice. With this new information that there are pteranodons on Lost Colony, that would be my new mission for the time being. Luckily I found this 145 and knocked it out. The only problem was I wasn't really expecting to tame anything, so all the meat was still at my base. With no good way to get back there, I decided a parachute would be my best bet to glide back down, and I'll be honest, this worked way better than I thought it was going to. With my new Pteranodon tame, I had now unlocked the ability to fly in the sky, making it way easier for me to get around the map. At some point on the way back from the Pteranodon, I knocked this Oviraptor out, but I could not find the file for this, so you're just gonna have to believe me. And while I was scouting out what other creatures might be on this map, my Veilwind decided he would show his face again. Later I found this Pteranodon and hit an absolute snipe on it with the bola. A few quick trank arrows to the dome, and this thing was now being tamed up. One thing I didn't think about is how I was going to get all the Pteranodons back in the base, because there's only one spot for them to land, and it's pretty small. I then named them all super creative names like Stamweight. Then I tried to tame this raptor, but apparently my Veilwind, and especially my Baryonyxes, weren't very big fans of this, so they killed it. Anyway, I figured it was now about time for me to set my sights on a fabricator, because we kind of need to get more progression on this map. First I wanted to hatch some Pteranodon eggs, until I heard this. With that out of the way, I could hatch some other Pteranodon eggs, and I went to check the Veilwind's level. It only had 2% of what it needed to be evolved into a Soulwind. Then I spent some time Pteranodon breeding, but I just couldn't get anything good, so I tamed this huge level raptor instead. With the metal that I had, I could afford a little bit of flak, and I'll take all the armor I can get right now because it's looking rough. And I was a high enough level now so I could unlock the fabricated crossbow. Then I settled on this meh Pteranodon, and I unlocked a perk that lets me eat spoiled meat for some reason. I really wanted some new Arctic armor, so I went out and took down a bunch of direwolves for their pelt and fur. While out, I found a gamma supply drop, and considering there was nothing around, I decided I could probably take this on. Little did I know, I was about to meet some flying bats. Yeah, so this went about as well as you'd expect. Even when I thought I was out of it, a neophyte tracked me down and I ran like a little baby.
This guy's such an idiot here. What's that? He's always been like this here.
And as a shock to absolutely no one, my Pteranodon died, so I had to hike back to base by myself. When I did get back to base, I made a repair anvil using the vanilla with sprinkles mod and some of the cool Arctic armor that we were talking about. After my last Pteranodon disappeared, I got another one but decided I'd be better off using Argies instead, which as always tame super fast.
Another one.
With both taming, I did some bud hunting for the saddle and ran into everyone's favorite creature. Once back at base, I did archer breeding so I'd have backups. The first egg was so bad it had to go. Next I set up a trap so I could start taming an Anki and a Doid. But before that I needed some meat for the Argies, so I took out a couple of Spinos, but this Microraptor came to say hello again. Finally I found a good Argie. Nope, not this one. This one. While raising it, I got to test my watchtower, and it works pretty well. While out looking for more tames, I found this awesome level 150 Anki, so I carried it all the way back to base, trapped it, and knocked it out. While it tamed, I celebrated this by getting the last piece of metal I would need to farm by hand with a pickaxe. Now, as you might be able to tell here, I was also looking for another specific flying tame.
The Desmodus is the same station in taming 2 metal ingots and 4 blood packs.
But I literally could not find one, so I settled for 2 dung bugs. Keeping on pace with utility, I found this 140 Doid literally right outside my base, so I peacefully convinced it to be my friend. Next, I was out looking for cementing paste and oil when I got close to the city, and wow, this is really cool, but I'm also pretty terrified right now. Although I didn't even see a beaver for cementing paste, I did find this otter, so that's a win for me. Not only did I get bit by a fish, but while watching the Veilwind take them out, I nearly drowned. So to make myself feel tougher, I flew into this pink waterfall. This is where the beavers are supposed to be on this map, but it was abandoned, although I did find some oil. But seriously, not a single damn beaver. Alright, I know that was pretty bad. The outskirts of the city are scattered with these spotlights, and they look pretty cool at night, but as far as I can tell, they don't actually do anything. Now we're all the way on day 9. I was scouting base spots when I stumbled across this owl. On my way back, I also saw this Rex and contemplated using a Rex army, but come on, that's boring and we all know what I'm gonna use. I went back to where the owl was and gathered some resources for an archie trap so that I could tame it with no problems. While looking around for more base spots, I found this ledge and it looked like a great spot for me to build my base. I threw a couple foundations down just to secure the spot on the map no one else is playing on, also foraged for my insane amount of metal. I also had just enough metal now to make a smithy for my little outpost. Then I hit a glitch I've never seen, just could not repair my crossbow. Luckily for me, after a quick relog, it was still broken. So I made a repair station, and for some reason that worked. No clue why. In classic Hoser fashion, I lost track of getting a fabricator, and instead went out looking for another snow owl to do, well, some more snow owl breeding. Right at the end of day 9 I found one, but was interrupted by everyone's favorite tame. So I was forced to get rid of it. I was actually super happy to remove it from my ARK, is what I would say if it didn't run away like... I'm just kidding, the mana just decided to fight the snow owl instead. This saber interrupted, so he was sent away. Now we went back to the owl, and apparently the fight with the mana had just completely broken it. When I was trying to guide it back to the trap, it decided it only wanted my RG and nothing else. And of course, the mana decided it would make another appearance. It isn't really ARK without a dino appearing out of nowhere to try and ruin whatever you're taming. Eventually I got annoyed and I tried to fight the mana in the air, which all of you know did not work. But eventually I hit the snow owl with a few tranks. But to top it all off, you see this Veilwind? Yeah, well, I didn't. Finally I managed to trap it, but a new mana was here, but rather than dispatch it, I just led it to this packy rhino, and of course this idea had no merit and did not work. After way too long, I managed to get rid of that stupid mana. Of course, when I got back to the trapped snow owl, it got out. After some readjusting, it went right back to attacking my Veilwind this time instead of my RG. After many attempts, it was finally trapped, but remember that Veilwind from earlier? Yeah, he's back. Yeah, so it attacked me for literally no reason, and I still genuinely have no idea why it happened. Luckily I have disposable pteranodons and got back and knocked it out pretty quickly. But first I took the Veil Wind far, far away from me, and I had to heal the Snow Owl since the Veil Wind messed it up pretty bad. Probably as an omen of what was ahead, I found this guy chilling in the snow. On my way back, I found some penguins and couldn't pass up the free polymer. I also claimed this baby for a potential project for later, but I noticed it was part of a challenge, so I claimed a baby Carno as well. Unfortunately, I lost the baby Carno. After only 10 days of living in my old base, I really wanted to move, mainly to this new spot because it was way more centered than this one was. Now, I have no words here, but I think I'm trolling myself. Honestly, I have literally zero idea. So naturally, instead of doing that, I went on a metal run to make more progress on the fabricator.
Isn't it majestic? Imagine something so beautiful thriving in these icy wastes. I wonder if you could win its trust.
Helena graciously informed me that I had apparently found a soul one, but I got pretty mad, so I dipped and set up a few forges for metal instead. But not before the Lost King had another warning for me.
Ah! You found the Great Western Bridge, built to access the highlands to our west.
So naturally I ignored him and started breaking his stuff for electronics. On my way back I stole some more, but I did complete my own mission of finding my RG. By accident. From there I made it back to the new base spot with no issues except getting jump scared by a dreadmare. On the way there I ended up finding another high level snow owl, so I figured why not tame that as well. For now it was back to the fabricator mission, but I was still short some ending pace since no beavers were spawning anywhere. So instead I focused on taking down a bunch of different creatures for small amounts of chitin or keratin. On day 12, snow owl breeding began. This is the one I got where the stats were pretty passable. While waiting, I decided I should name some of my dinos, starting with the Yankee, Aki, the Baryonyx Bart after the man himself.
Am I gonna smash it? Yes.
My Phiomia Pork, of course my otter Olga, and even the dung beetles Dung and Dunger. Finally, my favorite name of the series, Hagrid, my new snow owl.
Hagrid, you're pushing me over the f***ing line!
With Hagrid healed up and no beavers in sight, I decided to shift my focus over to a mammoth for some wood gathering. I ended up finding this level 150 right at the end of the day, and with some pro level billboards, trapping it was no problem. While waiting for the mammoth, I flew around and tamed a baby ovis for mutton if I needed it later. I also found another supply drop, but after last time, I got out of there pretty quick. And on the way back, I stumbled into some silica pearls. Since I was out, I know theories are pretty solid, so I decided I should probably look for some of those as well. I managed to find a 145 berry, but on the way to get it, I got microed while Helena started explaining the obvious.
This looks like debris from the aberrant ark.
This is also where I learned you can place absolutely nothing in the resource cache's radius. This means my trap had to be built far away, and kiting into the trap was going to be a little bit harder of a process than I thought.
Me!
Now, no matter how many times I watch this, I have no idea how this happened. I must have knocked out a Dimetrodon while hunting for fish, but there's no cuts and no video of this happening, so yeah. Now, admittedly, for the last few days, things were going way too smooth. I mean, I had a bunch of close to max level breeding pairs and a high level mammoth, so these Veilwinds kindly tried to reset me to remind me the Lost King has my number. Then ARK did the same as I crashed. It set me back like 30 minutes to the point I hadn't even built the trap yet. What? Bro, you're kidding me. The trapping went just as well as the first time, but because I'm editing this, it took 2 tries. You'll just have to believe me here. Oh, and just to clarify, I never randomly retamed a Dimetrodon, so hopefully you weren't too attached to it. After that, I grabbed the berry and the mammoth and headed home to log off before I crashed out. But not before I completed the goal I nearly set 10 days ago. That's right, a fabricator. This means that up next is the new fabricated crossbow, but really I had my sights set on Indie Forge. I also had enough pelt to make the rest of the Arctic armor, so I did that. Shit, okay. I also wanted to start building a base, so I went out with the mammoth, and wow, this thing is crazy at gathering literally everything. I was able to craft tons of narcotics, and I also got a bunch of wood so I can start making some structures. I also had berries breeding out, but I literally don't do anything with them, so this is the last you're going to hear about berry breeding. I started day 14 by running out of stamina, but for some reason I just stayed in the sky. If anyone knows why this happened, please let me know, because I've never seen a Pteranodon do this. With that in mind, I went back to grab Hagrid before picking up my Doedicurus. On day 14, I was just kind of doing random tasks, waiting for metal to smelt, so I tamed another baby ovis. I also fully finished the Arctic armor set. I even tried putting the companion gear on the Veilwind, but apparently that only works on the Armored Doggo on Extinction. And after my astonishing genius, I decided to test the waters in the city with Bart.
Alright, I'm gonna go into the city. So what do those actually do then? I'd assume it would have... My guy seems fine. What is that? Like Ethereum?
Wrong. That's a gargoyle and you're about to get attacked by some.
Those are Dismodus. Whoa.
Before you lies the Great Southern Bridge, symbol of our control over the valley and outer reaches to the south. Through many eyes.
And I'll be honest, while editing, I still don't know why that happened.
Fair enough. I could take RGs. I want to find these loot drops though. Oh no. Why? Oh, one. Why'd that attack me? Except on this? Too close to it? I don't know why that happened.
The Lost King also warned me about something, but I just kind of ignored him.
I warned you! Now my children will teach you not to disobey. Unless you can prove yourself against our revenant invaders.
Interesting. What is this? Sure.
Now that is unsettling. Keep that boosting a wide berth.
Well, that's what we're here for. Let's try it. Gloon, that's not ideal. That was probably stupid, but let's do it. Oh yeah, you should be in neutral by now.
A lot stronger as well.
Isn't it so much easier to work for me rather than against me? I hope we have an understanding.
Now, the Lost King had no idea how little of an understanding we had.
Here we go. Those are easy. Spelled me too. Sweet. What are you doing? Where did this thing come from? Stop.
After a bunch more Revenant fighting, I decided now would be a good time to tame a Gloom.
Oh, Edmund. Only you could dream up something that bizarre.
Now, if it isn't obvious here, prime meat was going to take a while, so I knew I probably needed kibble for this tame, and if you don't know, the Gloom can mesmerize your dinos or characters, kind of similar to Tyrannosaur, but it just kind of sends them into doing whatever they feel like. While trying to figure out what to do, I got swarmed, but luckily Bart was able to send them packing with no issues. At this point, the taming wasn't working like I wanted, and Bart was pretty hurt, so I decided to run off like a baby again.
Now that's weird. Try not to seem hostile.
When I got back, I decided it was probably time to build a base, but first I was going to need a ton of stone. But before I did that, I wanted to make a medical stand because I wanted to know what it did. Basically, you fill it with blood packs or narcotics, and it applies that to any creature you choose, or you can siphon blood from your own creatures. But now, after that fun fact, let's build a base. Now that took a while, so I decided to shift gears and tame a Megatherium. Up to this point, no beaver dams had spawned, so I wanted to try to make a chitin farm instead. Luckily for this, I don't need a high level Megatherium, so this level 95 would work pretty perfectly. The second part of this plan requires bugs, so I tried to tame an Aranio, but when that didn't work, I settled for some scorpions I found later. I also found this crazy looking stego, but I'm sure I won't see another one. And now, because I stopped looking for Megatheriums, of course I found this one. But back to scorpion hunting, I ended up flying near my old base, and wow, it is just terrible. Seriously, why did you guys ever let me live in this? So what came next was pretty straightforward. I just tamed 2 scorpions, and that's about everything. I'll be entirely honest here, I'm not editing or building right now, so here's the finished chitin farm. So the idea here is that the scorpion eggs will hatch and then they'll grow up, and since they're not claimed, they should be aggressive and Megatherium will harvest a bunch of chitin. So we're going to check on this later, but first I had to set up some air cons in order for this to work properly. In other news, Wildcard finally released a patch to fix the beavers, but I still had no luck finding any dams. But damn, my chitin farm is working really well.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
If you subscribe, I'll never make a joke like that again. But now this means I can finally make a bunch of cementing paste, which means soon I can make a chemistry bench, but more importantly, that sought after indie forge. While I waited for this, I decided it was time to set up a water system so I could stop flying down the cliff every time my character got thirsty. I then got distracted and made this pet bed and stuck my otter up there where he'll live for the next 70-ish days. Next on my checklist was the Desmodus because they're my favorite flyer in ARK, or in ASE they were, so I used the medical station to turn my mammoth into blood packs. But right before we do that, I think it's time to make the brand new fabricated crossbow. This thing is crazy good, but it's about as durable as Wildcard's servers on launch days, but we'll test that later. Wildcard, that's a joke. 6 years with delays gets you that one. Anyway, I named my Dodicarus today. Then, on another one of my many metal runs I'll be doing, I found this cursed-looking parasaur. While waiting for that metal to smelt, I was admiring the view when one of the new outposts popped up. For some reason, this made me panic, and I made a backup save for some reason, like they were going to attack me. Not sure why. So to calm myself down, I decided to start a garden, and here's another building montage. I also set up a few plant species X because my base is pretty open from the top, and because of all the crystal I used, I headed back to the bridge to get a bunch more. While taking care of some penguins, I noticed we had another visitor. But after some help from the penguins, I was able to craft a chem bench and a generator. And now I get to show you my completely necessary hidden room. Then I went out to get some oil and cementing paste, but found this plant instead. It did give me these plants, but I need a tech crop to use them, so there's no real point in having these right now. After the whole meat plant disaster, I shifted focus to a herbivore. Some theories can help me take on some of the outposts before I tame my real boss fighters later in this video. To do this, I tested out the new crossbow, which has a shotgun mode that durability goes down like crazy, but I will say it does do a lot of torque work. There happened to be another one down in the canyon, and traveling it didn't go nearly as well, but we managed to get it done, no thanks to this capro. Luckily after that, both theories tamed super easily, and while waiting I learned I could pin my multiply effect on my hotbar. This was game changing to me. I also learned that my Veilwind was at 100% XP, meaning I could evolve it into a Soulwind or Melwind. Come to think of it, it seems pretty familiar to Eve. You know what, come to think of it, it's nothing like Eevee. With one Veilwind fully leveled up, I decided to breed them to see if I can level up a few more, with the end goal being to breed Soulwinds and Melwinds. Yes, I know that now. Well, can you figure out what I'm going to evolve this one into? In order to breed and hatch my theories, I needed aircons, so I just threw them in my main room. Then I got my first baby Veilwind. I bet you definitely don't know what this one will be evolved into. There's going to be a ton of theory breeding, so for your own sake, this is your FYI that I'm starting here and now on day 27, so you don't have to suffer through the same boredom I did breeding these guys. For the next little while, Vecna's going to be our new companion until he's fully leveled up. All I needed at this point for the huge industrial forge was the metal already cooking, so I put up some taxidermy bases for some new mascots. And just to keep you updated with the breeding, we got our first mutation, which I think was oxygen or something, so super helpful. One thing that was helpful is that this was my Veilwind to start, and here it is after one round of selective theory breeding. Yeah, I have no idea, but I'm not complaining, so I named another one Velma, and my plan is to just keep leveling them up. I also raised another one named Venus and wanted to test my XP theory, and yeah, it was working super well, but I have no clue why, so if any of you know why this is happening, let me know in the comments. So I swapped out Velma for Venus for my next batch of breeding, but now I wanted to test how strong they were, so I sent them after the aggressive plant, and wow, look at that damage.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Thank you, Phil. I basically spent the rest of the day attacking things with the Veilwind. And on the morning of day 29, I got a mutation on one and named it Vamos. Do you see the theme here? I now had a good line of theories, but it had no mutations, just the high health and melee, so I named the first one Thad. If any of you get that reference, I'll be pretty impressed. Later that day, I also got my two final Veilwinds. I decided to shift focus back to the Indie Forge, so I went out playing some penguin baseball. When I got back to base, I realized I forgot to feed Thad, so I figured I should probably heal him. Thanks to some penguins, I can finally make my new Indie Forge. I also made a fridge because why not? Now I had made all the farmer progress I was going to need for this challenge. I wanted to see if I could find another outpost like the one that spawned outside my base earlier. But first I decided to stop being a huge wimp and finally explore the city. I would blame the NPC for this, but I mean, I think this theory was actually pretty patient until I decided to crash out on me. I was feeling pretty confident, but I didn't notice this symbol until I decided to take the teleporter up to the main city. Oh! Wait, why are they mad at me? Yeah, so I chickened out and instead switched my focus to finding some Soulwinds. And while I was out searching for outposts, I found a Gamma Outpost defense mission. Basically, it's a balloon tower defense from the revenant creatures.
This decoy might draw their attention.
Don't let them wreck my property. There are things there more valuable than you.
this for, since they don't harm enemies or help allies.
Now for this outpost, I mostly threw down towers and turrets, which made this pretty easy, except for this Bronto because there's a major catch. Sorry. There's a major catch to these that I'll explain later in my video.
Pay attention to that revenant Uterranus.
My mic wasn't picking up audio here for some reason, but don't worry, we need to do a lot of these. The last wave will always feature the boss. In this case, I got a Theory, it wasn't too difficult. They'll then drop a key which you can use to unlock this vault. I actually got a bunch of decent stuff from this, but one item was better than the rest. Let's see what we get from this. Whoa. Crap about these guys. Oh, let's go. These are going around my base. I have no idea if I was supposed to get this, but it's exactly what I needed in order to create the Malwin. Oh, I got a Blood Forge, that's sweet. You can use that. And red elements. Okay, I know what I'm using that for. When I got back to the base, I basically spent the rest of the day messing with the new thrall.
Thrall from me. I just hope you're ready for the responsibility. Heavy hangs the crown.
Very late on day 30, I set down the cryo hospital, but more importantly, the Blood Forge. Although my chitin farm was working, I just got a bunch of veggie cakes, so I went on kind of a snail taming spree. I only tamed 2, but this allowed me to throw them in the greenhouse and leave them on wander so they might breed, and more importantly, I don't have to tame more. At this point, I was starting to think about the boss fight, and it was probably a good idea to tame a Uterranus or a Deinotherium, but I haven't used Deinotheriums, so I decided to go for the Beer Guzzler. Luckily, in the greenhouse, my snail idea was working, so I don't have to tame any more snails. Now that my hostile status had disappeared, I thought it would be a good idea to head back into the city and test my luck. It seemed like that now I had no hostile effect, everything was leaving me alone, even these Rexes. I ran around for about 10 minutes, but I didn't find any of the loot drops that are supposed to be here, so I just went back out of the city. On my way back, I stopped to tame a couple moss shots because I'm going to need these for my next project. I must have been bored looking for a good level Soulwind because I went back for round 3 with the meat plant. Then I must have got really bored because I started to try to tame a Galoon. That lasted about 5 seconds until I decided to try to level up Main instead. Luckily I ran into one basically right away. If you don't know how to tame one, basically use your whistle to emote at it until it lets you take pristine Volpite from it, and this is all you need to tame it, but the higher level, the more likely it's to be Ascendant. When I got back to base, I was tired of being hungry, so I made an industrial cooker. I also found another Soulwind and grabbed another Volpite for a Malwin, but this one sucked pretty bad. Once I got back, it was time for a Soulwind, because I didn't realize you need more than red element for a Malwin. I thought red element was just everything you needed. Before that, I named another Valewin, but don't get too attached to it, just saying. And as you can see here, my theory method worked perfectly again. I also learned that through the thrall you can get all of ARK's animated skins. Don't tell Wildcard. And just to build suspense, I got sidetracked and decided now would be a good time to forget about the soul one completely and tame this Thylacoleo. At this point I'm as annoyed as you are, and I know what happens. I did name the RG though, and now for the big reveal. Yeah, so when I fed the Veilwind my Volplate, the whole PC crashed, and then when I came back, the Soulwind was at the bottom of the mesh, but I promise it literally just jumps out of the ground as a Soulwind anyway. Is it really a hoser video if something like this doesn't happen? Anyway, peep the Theory army. Just in case you were wondering, the snails were still multiplying like crazy. With my first Lost Colony creature tamed, I was itching to tame a second one, and this time it would be the Gloon. So I made a bunch of simple kibble, because this is the easy way to tame them. While I waited for that, I finished the last few theories for my outpost defending army at the end of day 35. On day 36 I started by hatching some sacrificial moss chops. Don't worry, it's for a good cause. One of the last big progression items I needed to take out the Lost King was an indie cooker, but I just needed some polymer. Luckily it was somewhere around the base. Really the only reason for this was so I could stop filling water jars, but I need it again in about 50 days. Next, in order to take out some outposts, I needed a bunch of Theory saddles, so Aki and I hit the mountains. While waiting for the metal, I crafted up some get out of jail free cards. Now it's finally time to tame a Gloon. I wanted to make a joke here, but I couldn't bring myself to. At least past me thought this was funny. You know what Gloon sounds like. Taming Gloons is pretty easy once you know what you need to do. Essentially all you're doing is clearing all of the revenants out that it has surrounding it, and then you start shooting loads of arrows into its eyes. You do this until it hits the ground. You just have to switch which eye you hit, then once it's on the ground you kneel and feed it simple kibble. That looks pretty easy, right? Well, here's how this actually went before that. For all the trouble he put me through, I stole his baby. After that, I was just running around and learned the Soulwind did this. Oh, a bridge? Oh, this is cool. I also wanted to test out the Gloon, so I attacked this mammoth, and wow, this thing does a good amount of damage.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Alright, someone carb grab Phil, please. Anyway, I spent pretty much the rest of the day using the Gloon and the Soulwind. Once I got back, I finally had enough for 10 more Theory saddles, which meant I'm almost ready to start defending some outposts here. At this point in the challenge, the temporary moss shops were also done breeding, so we could get to work on that soon. I was also finally ready for the most important task in beating the Lost King, our two mascots, a Soulwind that I'll rename later, and of course, Hagrid. Okay, seriously though, with the Theory saddles now done, it was time for some outposts. For absolutely no reason at all, I was feeling pretty confident, so without testing the gamma at all, I went straight for a beta defense. I set up some basics like a turret and a tower, but really I was relying on all of my creatures for this one to be done. As you can see, besides the bloater breaking my armor, I had literally no trouble at all, until this happened. Yeah, so I didn't get all the dude's swollen ankles, but this thing decimated the drop in like 3 seconds. So unless I was staring at the right side, I don't know how I would be able to do this. So with that, I took my talents to a gamma outpost down the river, and this one actually went super smooth.
look at the sun. Make yourself useful. Its roars freeze everything nearby. Do what you
Great work. Now see if they gobbled up any.
Look what you can do when you listen to me. Keep protecting my...
Unfortunately, the only thing I got was a pike and a cliff platform, so kinda rough, but the dino gates gave me a bunch of metal. I also placed a cliff platform and built a neophyte trap that I'm probably never going to use here. As of day 38, the Gloon lives here now, and I'm going to go back to theory breeding. After spending most of day 38 doing that, it was finally time that I used the moss shops I've been breeding for some secret reason. That's right, it's bat time.
Where were the other drugs going?
Well, close enough. Now you're probably going to wonder what I'm doing here, so let's break it down. A, I'm invisible thanks to my Gloon, and B, I needed the bats to chew on the moss shops until the taming effectiveness went back up to 100. The only problem is a glitch where I can only see this level 55 and none of the other ones in the area. Long story short, I fed this thing like 10 moss shops and the taming efficiency barely moved, so I just tamed 2 and left. There's no audio for this clip because I had a hockey game on in the background. These things tend to be pretty insane, so they might be okay at a low level, but I found some pretty good drops on my way out to make up for the low level tames. After I dropped all my stuff off in the safe, I set up the Desmodus for breeding. While we were breeding, I spent 20 minutes looking for a Cryolophosaurus that ended up here. Then when I found a new one, I made 2 major mistakes. Can you guess which ones I'm gonna make? A, I trapped it with billboards. B, I kept my Gloon on aggressive. C, all of the above. D, I fell off the cliff. If you guessed B and C, congrats, you earned a free click on that subscribe button. There was actually a chance that this might have worked out, but it was just too hurt when I found it, so I just packed up and left. In hindsight, I probably could have healed it with the snow owl. Anyway, it was already day 40, and I can't help but feel like I'm pretty behind. I mean, I've only completed 1 gamma drop, and to complete this challenge, I need to do 20 of each on alpha. I noticed another outpost by my base, but it was beta, and I still didn't understand why I'd failed the earlier beta so badly, so instead I decided I would just hunt this treasure chest down, and oh my god, what a drop. No, I'm never going to be able to make that, but it's still insane. Now this is a drop I can use. Back at base, I realized I couldn't get rid of these theories, so they're probably going to be here for the rest of the video. Now I finally had enough beer to start taming any Dinotheriums I came across, so it was time to party.
Hardy, hardy.
Unfortunately, all 3 of them kind of sucked, but I guess that's fine for now. Not really, but fortunately I know I had enough hide for 7 more theory saddles, and after a little more could make 9 total, so at least there's that. After some much needing healing, I decided to give the beta outpost defense another try.
Just look at the sorry state of...
Hard to go wrong with. Nice thinking.
Don't let them wreck my property. There are things there more valuable than you.
Or help allies. But
Things there more valuable than you. What you can to destroy it, and throw out my outpost.
Now, an issue I ran into for some reason is I couldn't deal damage to this stupid thing, and I have no idea why, but after about 10 minutes of seemingly randomly it taking damage, it just disappeared. So again, I couldn't do beta. After my second defeat, I decided it was probably time to do a gamma, and this thing went insanely well, for real this time.
Just look at the sorry state of this property. There are things there more valuable than you. More valuable than you. Property. There are things there more valuable than you. They've set a revenant brontosaur. One with skin tempered in volatile liquid element. Find the weak points in its armor before it tramples my entire operation. Look what you can do when you listen to me. Keep protecting my outposts.
I really didn't get much from this, but I couldn't believe the skill gap from Gamma to Beta, and I'm supposed to do all of these on Alpha? Yeah, my confidence was at an all-time low here. And just like that, as I bridged into the sky, it was already day 43, and I'm still way off fighting even the Gamma Lost King. Then Hager decided to fly in my base, and he had no interest in leaving. This is the point where I found out Mega Raptors were indeed on this map. But now it was time to walk face first into my next Cryolophosaurus taming attempt. So anyway, if you don't know how to tame a Cryolophosaurus, it goes a little bit like this. You're going to need a shield and some sort of shelter. Hold on one sec, I gotta deal with this.
Me! Help me!
Right. When he breathes his ice beam, try not to be hit by it. I recommend a trap. I'll show you that later though. But when he spits the blue balls at your face, you want to deflect these back. Sorry about that. You want to deflect these back and hit it until it knocks out. But a lot of the time, these go right through the back of its dome. Ah, there's the trap here. Anyway, do this until it gets knocked out. Boom, Cryolophosaurus. Now, unfortunately, that took pretty much the whole day, but hopefully the next one goes better.
You serious?
Luckily for me, there was a 150 literally right down the hill, so here we go again. Or not. Even more lucky for me, there was a 140 super close to me, but of course, like a crying baby on a plane, and then I just needed to be the center of attention. I'm going to save us all some time here though through the magic of video editing, and boom, there you go. Oh, and it's also the evening of day 44 because that took about 45 minutes or longer. Yeah, seriously. I didn't realize I had 2 males until I got back to base, so it was time to head out for a female to make the ultimate Cryolo. Before I could try to tame another one, a mana started bugging me, so I sent him away. This time I only took 12 minutes for me to knock one out. Maybe I'm just not that good at this. On my way back, I found this Gamma attack outpost, so I decided I should probably take this down, or at least try to. These are a little stronger than the defenses because each one has turrets and thralls that shoot at you from everywhere. I found that if you bum rush the structures like Prime Dustin Bufflin, generally you can take out the generators pretty quickly. Anyone got that reference? Comment down below please. After all of that, a mini boss is going to spawn. In my case it was this Desmodus, and you just have to take down the Desmodus and then the rider on its back. Simple, right? Well, unfortunately the loot from this one was pretty bad, but I did get this level 232 thrall. When I got back to base, I decided it was probably about time to find out how tough these neophytes were, so I planted some CCX seeds just in case. Now I thought fully hostility made them come and chase me, but apparently they just wait for you to enter the city, so I spent the rest of day 45 waiting for one that was never going to show up. While waiting, I decided to check on my egg stockpile, and well, I think I have just a couple. Apparently I lost Vamos, but he was chilling a kilometer under my base. For my Americans, that's about 1,000 freedom birds beak to tail. By the way, that subscribe button is free. But back to the eggs. I had so many I decided I should probably tame another Oviraptor. For now, its only job was to pick up Cryolo eggs, and it's going to be a while because these things take forever to breed. Later in the day, you'll never guess what I did. That's right, another outpost.
There are things there more valuable than you. Pay attention to that revenant Utyrannus. Pay attention to that revenant Utyrannus.
What?
This one was a little different because it was a large outpost, which means it's slightly bigger than a medium and much bigger than a small. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm running out of things to talk about through these, and we still have like 30 of them to do. Seriously though, the main difference is there's now 6 waves and 3 entrances, but luckily for me that's no issue for a big dog like me.
Okay, so that is.
There are things there more valuable than you.
Oh, there's much.
Great work. Now see if it gobbled up.
The loot for this one was pretty good, but again, nothing crazy. When I got back, I threw a thrall archer in one of the watchtowers for some defense, so she's going to live here for the next 53 days. I kind of wanted to get a Malwyn ever since I got the soul one, but I couldn't find more Ascendant pristine Volplite until today.
Yes. Okay.
This is where things got scary because Vecna was supposed to be right here, but obviously was not. I even tried ghost mode and still nothing, but after that I did a simple relog and it was here, so everything's fine. Once I got back up to base, I threw it out, and damn, this thing is pure nightmare fuel. On top of that, it had insane stats, almost 50,000 health. Oh, hey, look, another base defense.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
The only difference is I used a Malwyn instead of a soul one. I'm going to show a lot less of these outposts now because if I showed them all in this video, it might genuinely be 5 hours. And let's be honest, you're here so you don't have to sit through all this, so you're welcome. And again, that subscribe button hasn't moved, just in case you were wondering.
Let's see.
But seriously, 75% of the rest of the challenge is flying around and doing all of these bases, so strap in, we're about to go pretty quick.
What
do you? Oh my god. You are crazy, crazy strong. Holy.
After this defense, I did get an insane thrall and finally an Osidon saddle. Unfortunately, they suck, so I went and got some more pristine Volplite.
He's here. Bang. Wait. You. Other side. Here.
Later that day, after a ton of breeding, I finally got a decent cryo to raise up. The rest of the day was a lot of this. Fairly early on day 49, I found this alpha outpost, and it looked frankly terrifying. I have to do 20 of these and 20 defenses, so this is going to be rough. I got way too scared to try it, so instead I went back to my base and made a Desmodus saddle to test out the Desmodus. While testing it out, I decided to tame another cryo because my highest health was 38 points right now, and a decent one would have to be between 45 and 50. And here we go again with another base, but hey, this one is an attack, so let's run it through. Just like most of these, I charge in on my Malwyn and went straight for what I'm guessing are generators, and then I just humbly decimated the thralls that were left. Now let me introduce you to the Marksman, another mini boss that just teleports away from you whenever you get close. This one was pretty easy, but just you wait. I got a couple of thralls and that's it, besides some hazard pants. I'm not even going to show them. Oh hey, look, it's another defense.
Great work. Now.
Guess what? I got nothing from that. Well, would you look at that? It's now day 50, so officially halfway, and I don't even have an alpha boss fighter yet. Surely I'm gonna fix that soon, right? So yeah, on day 50 I finally started looking for some Ocedons. So one thing you'll have to keep in mind and remember is this was a relatively blind playthrough, so I just found this terminal and found out the tributes that I actually needed to do the boss. Speaking of, 2 minutes later I found the barrier to the city. Apparently you can't fly.
You finally made it to the upper city, where my most esteemed...
While I was here, I decided to harvest a gargoyle, and you actually get the aberration gems, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I have a use for that, but good to keep in mind. But I'm pretty focused on the Ocedons, so Vecna and I just headed back out of the city. Day 51 was a lot of wood gathering and cryolo breeding. That's about it. I was so bored now that I was watching all of the Explorer notes. Yeah, it was getting rough out here. Eventually I settled on this cryolo, which is terrible, but who cares at this point. It was at this point in the challenge I realized I only had found a couple of loot drops in caves, and literally no other ones besides one in the city, so I think it's now time for a Drakeling. So I tamed this Drakeling, and my PC crashed for the second time in this challenge, so there's no footage of it. So here's one of the time jumps I'm talking about, because I'm looking for drops in the city, but there's about 20 locations scattered around, and you can't fly to them, so here's just what I found. Yeah, that's it. Now, not bad, but look how many spots I checked. Yeah, so instead we're going to try neophytes. I've done really well with them in the past. Back at base I decided to make a bunk bed because I didn't want to fly back and forth all the time around the city. But not before another gamma outpost in the city. Just kidding, one of the thralls got caught in a wall, so I couldn't physically do it, but I did do this one later. But this meant I was in the city too long, so a neophyte started hunting me. So on my way to the trap, but nothing ever happened. It's now day 54 and I still don't have any Ocedons or good loot for that matter, and this cave now was empty. I mean completely empty. I didn't get anything. Admittedly, I should have used my traits more, but I didn't remember to do it. I mentioned that because I didn't do anything else today besides look at traits. Anyway, neophytes are really easy to trap, and I got lucky to play this before the gloons got nerfed into the ground, so they just shred through the neophytes as long as you don't get picked like this. And the Thylus Bleed does a crazy amount of damage as well. Honestly, the loot wasn't great, but it's way less time consuming and I need the horns anyway. Welcome to day 55 where I test out the cryolo. This thing isn't really great, but that's kind of my fault. I should have tamed a bunch more to get a bunch better stats. I'm sure someone else is having a way better time with this with a way higher level into health and melee. And here we have another breeding pits. Tonight's neophyte hunt went pretty well and I got some stuff, but nothing crazy, nothing that would really help me. On day 56, I fast traveled to a random sleeping bag for some reason, so I went for a little swim. I spent most of day 56 looking for Ocedons, but I did find a beta resource cache. Luckily for me, they changed the waves from neophytes just to random creatures, so there was more waves, but they were possible to do. The hardest thing in this thing was a couple alpha raptors. For the rest of the day I flew around looking for Ocedons and I only found one, which was this terrible level. To start day 57 I used my Drakeling stored XP on my cryolo and went after the Dragon Horde chest, and wow, just wow, this is what we need to be doing from now on. And then it was back to more Ocedon hunting. Very late in the day I found one, but I had no idea how to get to it. Turns out it was on a giant hole in the mountain, and luckily for me, there was literally no way to get it out of this hole. but I did have kids, so I have a new plan in mind. Luckily, I have a ton of eggs, so I set out for a 150 Gigantoraptor because a fully maxed out with the 88 possible levels you can give it, fully added when claiming baby creatures will give it its full level. Now keep in mind you have to have the 88 levels pumped into it. Once I danced with this baby a little, I dropped it off a base so it would grow up and I could start the insane grind to level it up. So here I headed over to the Octodons and took out the parents before I claimed the babies, because everything I said while taming it, yeah, I knew none of that at the time when I hatched this plan. So that was a waste of a day and a half for now, so time for an alpha outpost. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I can barely beat a beta. I was just hoping it would despawn. Ooh, look, another attack mission. The only difference with this one is the thrall kept running away like a little coward, like the marksman I was mentioning earlier, so I failed it. Oh, and then this one went even worse. But I did come back and get one done on day 60.
What you can do.
Great work. Now see if it gobbled up anything valuable. Like the...
The next couple of days are all full of pure Gigantorapting levels, and I mean a bunch of it, because we're going to skip to now day 66. On day 66, I have a confession to make. My Gigantoraptor straight up Houdini'd on me, so I gave myself one back. Now, I will say I had about 8 more levels I needed to grind out, but when I was giving myself back the equivalent one, I gave it a little bit too much XP, and now it's max levels. But anyway, now it's time to find some Octodons, and on day 67, I finally found one. To tame them, you just need to get them to have torpor and then ride it. Step 2 is hitting the icicles that you shoot out and collecting creatures in the big ball you roll around. You have to repeat this 4 times for a max level on my settings. Honestly, it was going really well until a Rex headbutted me. Basically, this isn't a boss fighter anymore, but I still finished the tame. After that, and finding no more good Octodons, I returned to base on day 68 and decided to imprint a Desmodus. And I mean, this thing wasn't a great level, but it hits really hard. It also took me 68 days to find an Orlax, and man, this is cool, but there's no way I can tame this right now. The next day I went back to the Octodon taming, and I actually managed to find a 145 female. This one actually had a child, so I finally got to use my Gigantoraptor plan. And luckily, this Octodon has insane health. This is literally the best stat I've ever got on a creature, so I was pretty happy. It's now day 69. I found another 140 pretty quickly, and this time it was a male, but it went about as bad as possible. This actually wasn't a rage quit. I heard that relogging resets the taming effectiveness.
Something out of Chinese folklore.
Dude, you're joking me.
Seen this has to be.
So now, as long as we get a good roll with its melee, this will be enough to start our Lost King killing army. I'm not sure why the Sanguine Elixir wasn't working here, so I just had to finish one more cycle to get it tamed up.
Why is it not working? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so whoever told me relogging works, I hope you get a nasty sunburn.
And here we go. There. Okay, give it to me. Come on, Octodon. Yes! 42, 47. I think we're just gonna use this one.
And with all of that, on day 70, the Octodon taming saga is finally over. And unfortunately for us, the next saga is Octodon breeding. And because they don't lay eggs to start breeding them, I made a gene storage so I can babysit them more easily. And here begins the Octodon breeding. This is going to take forever, so I'll just show you the finished project when it's done. That way we don't have to waste any time here. In the meantime, I went looking for drops, and I only found one. Yeah, this is getting rough. Later, I needed a break, so I set out with a new rifle and some kibble to tame a stronger Gloon. Luckily, I had a backup. Back at base, I started Gloon breeding to make a super Gloon, which of course we got on the first try. So this was the sigil situation on day 72. It's not looking very good, so I put all my drinking levels into my Gloon and set out for another outpost. But before we do that, we're going to go open another insane Dragon Horde chest. I completed this base attack at the end of day 72. Early on day 73 I found a high level Elder Claw, so I decided to steal the seed it drops for my own Elder Claw. Now I promise I really did plan on taming it. I thought I had all the items I need, but I did not have Biotoxin, and then I may or may not have completely forgot about it when it didn't want anything else. Then I spent the rest of the day Ocedon breeding. It went so great. You'll never guess what I did on day 74. On day 75 I made a warbench to hopefully make some stronger gear, but I mean this thing sucks, or at the very least I don't know how to use it properly. Oh hey, a Gamma Outpost! I spent the rest of the day looking for drops in the city, but I literally didn't find a single one, so instead I did a Gladiator's Keep. Right after that, a Neophyte picked me, and wow, they really don't take any damage from creatures at all. The Neophytes got the best of me, so I decided just to leave the city. Did I mention Relentless? Yeah, it followed me home, but luckily I had a trap ready, so I decided to try out the thralls, and they weren't really anything crazy, and before I could even take it out, it just vanished. Ooh, guess what I did next? All of the outposts are all the same, so I'm going to show even less of them from now on. This Ocedon sucks, so I threw it over the cliff. The rest of day 76 and 77 were literally all Ocedon breeding. On day 78, I took a small break to run through the city, completing a few more outposts. On day 80, I finally found an alpha zombie, so I could take that out, and now I just needed to do 5 more attack outposts before I can fight the Gamma Lost King.
My thralls will make you. How dare you rape one of.
Now to start day 83, I finally had these beasts. 20 stacks of melee mutations and 20 stacks of health. I know this seems like overkill, but it's really not going to matter for these alpha outposts, because man, these alpha outposts are something else. Later I hit another alpha hulkling because we need a bunch more for alpha tributes. And finally I hit my last Gamma outpost of the challenge, only 40 alpha outposts to go. But with all that, I had enough to take on the Gamma Lost King.
Sigils to get you access to the codex in his palace.
I pretty much spent the rest of the day breeding and healing the final Ocedons, and to end my day I picked out the final pieces of my gear to take on the Lost King, including placing a tinkering desk so I can mess with that later in the video. And on the night of day 83, I just had the weirdest nightmares.
For an all-powerful king, he sure seems worried about you getting to him. While I look for another way in, you better get ready for company.
Yeah. Well, that's hurting me, isn't it? Ooh, I was not ready for that. Ow. That's gonna straight up kill me. This is BS.
You found the master encryption key.
Wow, that was so weird. But now it's time for the real fight on day 86. I guess I slept 2 whole days, hey? But I'm not going to show you it all over again, but I had another little crash out and it's pretty funny, so here are some highlights.
On how I decided to edit this. Let's do this again.
Codex.
There was Thumper. You're so useless these days. Alright, here we go.
Okay, great. Kill this. Show you all the theories. I'm not going to kill that. It did work.
Part of an override code. Code. Keep looking for the rest.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not about to go fight that. So, I might just straight up just need a better hazard suit. You guys follow us. Oh, I can deal with that. Oh, thank God. Yo! You're joking. I'm gonna die like this? Let me alone! Just glitch through the map. Beautiful. Okay, this is definitely the boss right now. These spikes probably have something to do with something. Oh. No. What? What was I supposed to do? That might be it for this. I don't know what else to do. Now, there's always a point in a hero's story where he's down and out and it looks like there's no hope, only for your hero to rise from the ashes, and against insurmountable odds, he becomes victorious. Now, this probably isn't one of those moments, but of course that isn't the end of the video because I'm a stubborn bastard. But here's the deal, I'm using the blueprint station for an Ocedon blueprint, and you get to see me lose it for the next 14 days of my challenge. That's the deal. All of day 87, 88, and 89 were spent farming for saddles and healing Ocedons. And on day 89 there was an alpha marksman's hold to start the alpha grind back up again. But instead I elected for an alpha defense as they seem pretty easy. And I had a hockey game playing in the background again, so here's a couple random facts for you instead of the game audio. First, a howler monkey's tail is about 5 times as long as the length of his body, and his howl can be heard from up to 3 miles. As of 2022, Madagascar has a larger population than Australia. Facebook's color scheme is blue because owner Mark Zuckerberg suffers from red-green color blindness. 4 is the only number that is spelled with the same number of letters as itself. Now, if you're testing that out, you owe me a subscribe. So I beat the Alpha Outpost, but I lost Thumper on the way. I know you guys didn't get to see me name him, but trust me, he was kind of a part of it. Terrible, terrible day. And on top of that, the loot wasn't very good at all. On day 91, I hit an Alpha attack. I know I don't get sigils from this, but I just wanted to see if I could actually do it before I headed into the city. The loot from this was actually pretty decent, but the problem was time, because to do 2 Alpha missions, it takes 1 full day. So in order to complete all 40, I would need about 20 days left just for missions, and I simply just don't have that amount of time. So I'm instead going to attempt the beta at the end of the challenge, which is why you're seeing 7 days of only doing beta missions in the 30 seconds I've been yapping. Oh, well, it's still not done, so I guess I'll give you some more fun facts.
Better grab anything of value and clear out. Better grab anything of value and clear
A giraffe's heart is about 2 feet long.
Better grab anything of value and clear out. Better grab anything of value and clear out.
The bark on larger redwood trees can be as much as 2 feet thick.
Great work. Now see if it. Great work. Now see if it.
The world's shortest tree is you. Just kidding. The dwarf laurel, which lives in cold regions such as the Arctic tundra, it really grows more than a few inches high.
Great work. Now.
Alright, that's enough of that. It's now time to end The Lost King.
That nightmare too.
She's gonna do something.
What have we here? A wayward pet has finally found its way back to us.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is going well.
Nice work, Survivor. You bought me time.
Once again, you have accomplished the impossible. Do you have someone on the inside helping you? While I look into that, I'm restricting all access but my own.
Ooh.
Part of an override code. See if you can find the rest of it. And his master encryption key. There's more of the code. We've got the whole override code. Now all we need is his master key.
Jeez,
That
the
won't be on
lag
some
here.
random thrall.
Hey, yo.
Found the master encryption key.
Jeez.
Now I can decrypt the override code. You've definitely got the king's attention now. He's called in more thralls.
Tell your Homo Deus friend
I'm so confused.
She can't have it.
Must be something. Let's see. I don't know what's. I don't know what I took.
Containing aberrant creatures with charged light patterns. And almost does.
I feel like we might be overprepared for this. These arsenals, but.
I should kill you for invading our refuge like this. Sacrifices my people have made have been simply to live in peace.
The Lost King met me with some hostility before calling in his dragon back.
Show me what you've got!
Okay. Sweet.
Try to at least make this amusing.
The first part of this boss fight means I have to go around hitting these towers and attacking the Lost
If
King.
you can overload all those pylons and force the Lost King to the
I
ground,
think our stuff is a little too strong. We've had to start.
great work. Now
Wait.
overload the rest. Another pylon down.
You wanted me
Go.
down here with you? Now you can witness the power of the red up close.
I don't even see it.
He's using
Do
the
you understand now?
Yeah,
Hopeless
this.
this
I
is.
might have over.
Back to the air, Gigadesmodus! None of my power!
Don't listen to him. You're making progress.
Why do you keep throwing yourself against me? Zilla had nothing on me!
Oh, he can talk forever. I'll give him that.
I can't.
You have no idea what I have had to overcome. How dare you invade our home and threaten my children? You're the real.
Now's your chance. Take it.
Let's go.
My queen! Hear me! The kingdom is yours! Protect the children! Protect the lost!
We should kill this dude,
Survive.
but we will.
This was way too long to show, but there was shown a badass cutscene of Mayon's fight with the Lost King and how she survived until now.
Trespassers! You should not have come here. You will feed the lost children, and your strength will be added to theirs, and to me, their queen. Bow before your queen.
Mayan. What have they done to you? Survivor, please. I'm begging you. We have to help her. I can't leave Mayan alone. Not again. There must be some way to... Mayan almost took down the Lost King with that tech spear 1,000 years ago.
I see.
Rockwell must have infected her weapon with Edmundium during his time here.
God.
Yes! That did it! Rockwell had one last trick up his
God,
sleeve.
this is
after all.
sweet.
Bow before your queen.
Don't bother trying to block or dodge that attack. Just try to take cover if she does it again.
I'm very hurt already.
Ah,
It's to fuck her half.
remember who you really are, Helena.
She dodged.
No, I am the lost queen.
Okay.
You need to hit her now, before she can do whatever she's getting ready to do.
Okay.
Hang in there, Mei-Yin. We'll find a way to reach you. We have to save her, Survivor. We can't. I can't leave her alone again. Stop her!
Okay.
Mei-Yin. Your name is Li Mei-Yin. You were born just before the time of the Three Kingdoms. She took that defensive stance to try to get you to attack recklessly. Don't fall for it, and
Already
keep
did.
your distance.
Your life is but a flickering candle in this darkness without end.
She's getting stronger every time she
Ooh,
draws
that
blood.
hurt.
Try not to let her hit you.
Okay.
She's rebuilding herself with the Codex. Stop her! Your brother was Han. He fought by your side in the Yellow Turban Rebellion.
Relent, and I might grant you a swift end. Your life is but a flickering candle in this darkness without end. There is nothing you could ever do to hurt me, your queen.
Nothing.
No. She's rebuilding herself with the Codex. Stop her! You deeply loved a noble woman, Xin Shui.
Let's try.
Once I might have pitied you, mortal.
Ooh. We're good.
Can you not provide any challenge at all? I am untouchable, no longer capable of feeling. Can you not provide any challenge at all?
And with that, that's about 4 or 5 videos that I've failed the alpha boss fight on. I wanted to take this time to thank you all for watching, and let you all know that I have a pretty big year planned if everything goes to plan. Any interaction with this video is highly, highly appreciated. But as for the ARK side of this challenge, I think we're going to take a break. Now, this is for the sole reason that we can come back with a vengeance, but to do this, I think we have to start this right. So with all that said, we're going to be taking this back to where it all began.